What is up, everybody? So I'm back. I'm gonna start doing more videos. I ended up getting a whole shop, kind of doing my own thing now, and I have all the room and time that I need. So this here is a 2006-2007 ZX10R. I actually bought this for $2,000, and essentially what had happened was the guy bought it, let his friend ride it, and it is lowered, so the exhaust actually hit the oil pan, and that was leaking pretty bad. The other problem that this guy had was he lost the key, and instead of having another one made, his mechanic was going to drill out the ignition and the rest of the bike, and then, you know, buy a new ignition kit, which would have been cheaper just to get a key made, but it is what it is. So what I had to do was drill out the gas cap and also the tail fairing lock. It's been kind of a pain in the ass. Didn't have time to record it. Been moving into the shop and stuff like that, so now we're here. I can show you the rest. The Tach here, when I plugged it in and I tried to start the bike, everything is good to go. The bike starts, it runs, it's great. However, there is literally nothing on the Tach. So you can't see it, doesn't light up, doesn't do anything. Borrowed a Tach from a buddy of mine, and that did work. So now I know it is the Tach. So I have the windscreen off and all of that. This is going to be kind of like a half video of how things go together, but essentially you'll be able to understand how it comes off if I show you how to get it on, and then we'll go from there. So there's a couple tools I'm going to show you that I used and it worked out perfect. There was a lot of things that I didn't have to do because I had this tool, so you'll kind of know what I'm talking about once we get into it. But let me go ahead and show you what I've been using and what I used to get that off, and we'll go from there. Okay, so this thing was a lifesaver. It's basically just a tiny little wrench that fits bits inside of it. You can, you know, go on and off with it. It's just like a ratchet. So this thing, if I didn't have this, I would have had to take off the fairing stay. So I suggest getting this. I've seen them at the parts stores, you know, AutoZone, stuff like that, in kits for pretty cheap. The other thing I did grab was a small screwdriver like this, a Phillips head. These two things here pretty much saved my ass. So I'm gonna get into the bike now and show you why that was, and hopefully this helps. Okay, so let me explain how this kind of goes together. So you have your windscreen here and your mirrors. I took the mirrors off because I thought I was gonna have to take the fairing stay off, but I ended up using this, so we are good to go. You could honestly leave the mirrors on the bike. So underneath there's a little tab, it just comes out like this. These are not actually on the Tach. I put them in here so I didn't lose them, but this is where the screws will go. So you'll see a rubber piece here, and another one on the bottom. So this tool actually allowed me to get down there and tighten that Phillips just enough. If I didn't have that, I would have had to take this bolt off, lift the fairing stay up, and the only way to do that is, you know, 2 bolts on the sides, these 3 10mm, and then the mirrors. So I ended up just taking this Phillips out, which holds the Tach to the rubber grommets, and it definitely saved me a lot of time. Didn't even have to take off the mirrors, like I said. So I'm basically gonna kind of show you how I'm gonna put this back together. This is my first time putting the new Tach on. This is the old one, so I'm gonna grab the other one. But then, yeah, we're gonna do it together and see how it goes. Okay, so got the new Tach. This one's a little dirtier and it's cracked, so what I'm gonna do probably is open up this casing here and replace it with the other one. The other one was definitely in better condition. I tried to clean this off, but it looks like maybe it's degreaser or something that kind of permanently burned it. But let me go ahead and do that, and then I will be back. Okay, I figured I'd show you this anyway since I'm gonna be doing it. New one, right, burn, old one. So essentially all you do is go around and take off these Phillips. My drill just died, so I will be using my hand, which is still not a big deal. Most of these Tachs will have a rubber piece in between the 2 cases, and then a big motherboard chip looking type deal. And yeah, so these plastic cases actually usually get sold separately, so if you do have any damage, you can usually buy them pretty cheap on eBay, stuff like that, and replace them. That way it doesn't look, you know, 90 years old, or have any damage. So go ahead and just take out all of the screws. They're all the same size, so it doesn't matter what order. And the last one. Okay, like I said, this is the old one here. We do want to be careful with the insides. You might want to touch metal too. I don't, you know, you don't want to fry them or anything. So looks like it just pops off like that actually. So if you wanted to get this out, it looks like there's 2 tabs maybe that you have to pull out, but honestly we only need the front from the old one. So we will just take that off, and I'm going to put this over here where it's safe, and then we're going to take this off here and just replace that front because you can't really see the back. So instead of trying to take that out and risking it, we're just going to go ahead and be better safe than sorry and just replace that front casing there. So just go all the way around. Like I said, same size screws, nothing different. Oh, and it looks like there is a screw here if you need to get that back piece out. So don't break it. These are expensive. I think they're about $200 or something, depending on the mileage. So definitely don't want to break anything. Okay, and then obviously you could see that rubber gasket I was telling you about is in there. So just make sure that's pressed all the way down. I'm probably going to take a little flathead actually and put that in there because I don't want that coming out. 1 second. Pick will work too. Pretty much anything to hold it in there. So just press it down, make sure it's in there. Because when you close it, you want it to seal. This might have been why the first one went bad. So I'm just going to press it down. Okay, so we know we want this one on there. And then right side up, goes back down. Press it down. Good to go. And then I like to do it crisscross just like a tire. Obviously, it doesn't have to be insanely accurate, but since there's that little rubber gasket in there, you probably want to evenly put it down. So I'm going to go diagonal here. And I'm going to tighten them down, those two. Okay. Go over here. Same thing, the right side. And it does look like that other cover that we had, which might be why the tack is not working. Looks like it's on the inside, some of it, at least. So, that's interesting. Okay, then we're gonna cross that again, so down here. Way easier with a drill. Like I said, mine died. It might be better to do this by hand anyway because we're dealing with plastic, and you know, sometimes these old bikes are brittle plastic. We all know how that goes. If you work on bikes, you probably know what I'm talking about. Okay, and then we'll just go all the way around just to make sure they're hand tight here. Just make sure you don't strip them out. That's not good. This would be a pain. Okay, so we have the tack ready to go. Like I said, these 3 screws are what hold it to the fairing stay. So go ahead and get your tack up to the bike and get ready to install that. Okay, so what I did was put these top 2 screws in just a little bit. Allows me to angle this bottom one a little bit, kind of here to move it. And then I just took some needle noses like this. And don't strip it, but just turn it a little bit. You can turn the bolt with the needle noses. You want it far enough to where you can use this without hitting that back piece. So you just take the needle nose. It's kind of annoying, but I mean, it's gonna save a little bit of time here. So basically tightening that thing with the needle nose first. Don't do it on the threads, do it on the head of the bolt. That way you're not messing up the threads. It's going to be a little turn at a time, but eventually you'll have it further in and far enough to where you can use your little ratchet, and that'll save you a lot of time. So I think instead of taking off that whole fairing stay, this definitely saved me some time. Like I said, I didn't even have to take off the mirrors. I did that because I thought I was going to take the fairing stay off until I tried to get that little screw out. So the other thing are those angled, you know, they're like Phillips that kind of angle into like a torch or something. I've seen those. So anyway, just keep doing that with the needle nose right on the edge of the head, basically touching the washer. Okay. Eventually you'll have it pretty tight. I'm going to go as tight as I can because that'll allow me to use the ratchet without having to stick another finger in there to hold it, to hold the bit. It's like having a loose bolt, but you have to hold the socket with your finger and then the other part of the ratchet with your other hand. Okay, so it's pretty far in there now. I'm going to go ahead and use this. Okay, so it looks like I'm going to have to back these out a little bit to give me a little bit more room. So I don't know if I'm going to take them all the way out yet, but I'm definitely going to back them out. Actually, you know what? I'm going to take them off because these are the easy ones to get off. So I'm just going to take them off for now. Let's see. That way I have the full amount of room that I need to move the tack up and down. So I'll put those to the side real quick. Put this back on Tighten, and I have a lot more room to play with. So that was definitely better. So I'll go ahead and put it in there. Turn this a little bit. There we go. Okay. Just keep turning it. It's going to take a little bit. A lot of work on the fingers, but like I said, I think this is definitely saving some time here, at least for what I know. Okay, it's almost done. It's definitely getting tight enough where you can feel the resistance, so we're almost there. Don't bend the tack back too much. You don't want to break that. So that's in there pretty well. Now I'm going to go ahead and put the other ones in. Top here, get those tightened down. Try and make sure they're going in straight. Okay. I guess we can go in with our fingers for some of these. It's pretty easy to get them in. And then just tighten these down like regular screws. there on this one. Okay, and now this one, same thing, tighten her down. Not too tight because you can break the plastic on the tack, but definitely can take a little bit of pressure. So it's in there pretty good now. I'm gonna go ahead, plug this in. After you do that, flip your switch, make sure it turns on. We're good to go. Okay, after that, go ahead and flip your ignition. You should see your dash light up, make sure everything's good. I'm gonna go ahead and start it just to make sure everything. There you go. That's my way of doing the tack swap. Like I said, I felt like I saved a lot of time not messing with the mirrors or the fairing stay. It might have been better. If it is, feel free to shoot me a comment and let me know. But I mean, that's just what it looked like to me as far as the speed and getting it done. So anyway, 2006, 2007 ZX10R Tach replacement. Thanks for watching, guys.